All right, welcome in. We are recording on what is today? Thursday night. It's about 9:30 p.m. and the Warriors just beat the Kings. It was a historic night. We're going to get into that, but first I have a question of the week for you guys. And don't kill me for this. Turn that off. The question is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander a better scorer than Kevin Durant? Now, this seems like a ridiculous question, but I was thinking about this more in this whole Jokic Shea MVP race. I'm thinking, okay, well, Jokic he's very multidimensional. He's rebounding the ball, he's making plays, he's getting his teammates involved, getting everyone where they're supposed to be. He's handling the double teams, he's scoring when he needs to. And when I think about Shea, I think of someone who's just a cold-blooded scorer, and he is the guy who is the head of the snake on offense for the Thunder. And I was thinking, he really scores everywhere. He can shoot from three. He gets in the middle, has a deadly pull-up mid-range shot when these days it seems like everyone's either shooting at the rim or behind the three-point line. And his finishing around the basket is really good. Not to mention he gets a ton of fouls and he is a great free throw shooter. And I was thinking, I saw a stat. It was, I think, the night that they beat the Nuggets for the first time, that Shea, no, maybe it was in Boston. Either way, the stat was that he reached 10,000 points and was the fastest Thunder player to reach 10,000 points, even faster than KD. Shea did it in 368 games. KD did it in 381. And it made me think, like, we think of KD as like just one of the best scorers ever. And my thought about that is, and I'm sure what other people think too, is he just has an unstoppable jump shot. If he wants to, he can raise up and has such a high release that no one's going to block it. He can get his shot up against a double team. He has a really wide but controlled handle and can get to wherever he wants. And he was and still is really good at finishing around the hoop, especially above the rim. But I think about Shea, he has just as effective of a mid-range shot as KD does. I don't know about the percentages, but I feel like Shea barely ever misses. If he has a smaller guy on him, he's going to back him down and do a turnaround jump shot on him, and it's going to go in. If he has someone bigger on him, he's going to use his quickness, get by the guy, either pull up while the defender is still moving in the other direction, or he's going to get to the rim and finish, or he's going to get fouled. An amazing pump fake game where even the best defenders are just shook out of their boots. He gets them off balance and he's able to get a foul call. So let me know what you think. Is Shea a better scorer than KD? Who knows? We'll see. KD's got the longevity. We'll see what Shea does. Okay, one other thing that I wanted to bring up before we talk about Warriors and Kings. I was thinking more about the face of the league discussion, and at first I was thinking about, who is the most recent champion? It's the Celtics. And Jason Tatum is such a good player and has been such a good player that we were wondering why isn't he the face of the league? Like, he's an American player. He's won at the highest level. He doesn't have any off-court like issues or storylines that are kind of holding him back from being a popular figure. In fact, Deuce Tatum was such a cute story, and we all loved him when he was first introduced into the NBA. So it was really like a feel-good story and a great player coming out of Duke. And I came to the conclusion that he just doesn't have the charisma. There was a couple times when he was just awkward. Like when they won the championship, that anything is possible. It's like, dude, do your own thing. Like, tell us how you actually feel right now. Don't use this as a. It felt like a premeditated thought that he was going to. I'm going to do the KG thing when we win, or in his press conferences, he's very like politically correct, which is not a bad thing. But I'm saying He's just saying just very cookie cutter answers that don't actually give us a glimpse into what he feels or what he wants to do. He's in some of these commercials, but they're also not really like exposing us to who Jason Tatum really is. Um, but I was thinking there's an opportunity for him to become the face of the league this season, and it's not just because if they repeat as champions, he's the top of the mountain again. But there's also other factors. I think he's been playing with a little bit more FU to his game. He is unashamed in his shot selection. Like he's gonna take threes. He's not afraid of anybody. He um, his running mates aren't as big of a factor this year. Like Jaylen Brown won the Finals MVP last year. He's kind of an inconsistent player, and Jason Tatum has been the most consistent player on the Celtics to the point where Joe Mazzulla is even playing him the full first quarter in these big games. Like he has kind of cemented himself as like the guy that the Celtics are playing around. Versus I think last year they didn't even have to play their A game to win the chip. They were just beating everyone by as a committee, and they we didn't even really see their full power. I think this season for them to win the championship, he's going to need to be that focal point, and he has risen up to that. He's been playing even better than he was last year, scoring really consistently, tough ways. He's got a little bit more edge to him, I feel, and I think that if they win again, and it's mainly because of him, and he kind of just does his has a bit more charisma in it. I think he could be face of the league. So there's a little bit on that. Okay, let's talk about Warriors and Kings. Kind of funny timing. I was actually just in Sacramento this week. Had a conference there and was walking around the Golden One Center. It's a cool place. I would love to go to Sacramento for a game. But we were talking about Warriors and Kings. So what was at stake in this game? The Warriors and the Timberwolves were both at 16 and a half games back from the one spot. The Warriors were in the sixth slot, the Timberwolves in the seventh. So every win at this point counts, especially when the Wolves are kind of making a surge right now. I do not want the Warriors to have to be in a play-in situation. I would love them to just be in the number sixth. Oh my gosh, I would love for them to be in the number six slot, and if possible, number five. But I think they're 3 games behind right now, or 3.5, so that might be a bit too much to ask. But I want them to just have that security and give them the extra time to prepare for their first round opponent. So the Warriors, they just won by like 26, and it was Steph's night because he reached 4,000 3-pointers, the first player in NBA history to do so. And it was very fitting because he did it on a pump fake three where the first defender just flies right by him and can't recover in time for him to knock down the second one. Out of his 4,000 threes that he's hit, maybe 1,000 of them were like that. It just feels that way. It was a classic Steph three. Gets the ball, boom, pump fake the defender. These are the best players in the world, and they know that they need to close out, and they've practiced that a million times, but they don't do it for him. They're either coming at him from a different angle, or they're just Steph's just so good that they're not even thinking straight. But he threw up the pump fake. Guy went right by him, shot it up, and went in. And at 4K, Steph Curry made me think about. Oh, I don't like going to this place, but when he's done playing, it's going to be really. There's going to be something missing for a while. He was one of those players, is one of those players that just seems like he can do magic with the basketball. Um, it made me think about some of the most iconic Steph moments. And I didn't brainstorm on this for too long, but some of the ones that came to mind right away. Number one is when the US played Serbia last year in the Olympics, and it was Steph Curry and LeBron James leading the way for the US, two of my favorite players banding together and making it so that our team doesn't lose in the semifinals to another nation. It really just felt like the two of them put the team on their back, and Steph hit some huge threes down the stretch of that game. It really looked like the US was going to lose with just a couple minutes to go, and he made some plays that I wrote it down on my highlights board. That's one of the best games that I've ever seen. What else? His iconic warm-up routines. People would show up early to watch him warm up. I think he would do something where he's standing close to the rim, shot. Every time he would make it, take a step back. He did this all the way to half court. And then, he's doing his shots from the tunnel. Like it's insane. Like those are shots that you practice in the gym, like before or after your high school practice, and maybe what you make one of them every couple of days. He's making them consistently, and basketball is such a like when you think you can go out and shoot hoops, like that's such a calm moment of zen when you are one with the ball. It's calm. You're just putting the ball up in the air and it's going through the hoop, and that's like the purest act in basketball is a shot. And for someone to be able to have that tranquility and aim um, and precision when everything around them is chaos and ha has to go quick, it's beautiful. And it's one of my favorite things, has become one of my favorite things to watch in the game. What else? When Steph and Sabrina Ionescu did the three-point shooting contest, that was awesome. Sabrina shot better than everyone else, or she tied the winning score in the actual three-point contest that year. And Steph, of course, beat her and beat everyone else. I mean, we don't need a competition to tell us that Steph is the best shooter in the game. Yeah, what else? Let's see his celebrations. Night Night was one that came in the past since maybe before 2022, but I remember it from the finals there. And then he's introduced his golf one as well. He's a fantastic golfer too. He's hit hole in ones. He hit an eagle on hole 18 in what was it? It was in Lake Tahoe at the Pro-Am to win. He's just incredible. And yeah, his shots at the end of quarters and at the end of halves. This is one of my pet peeves when players will, I don't know if they're actually doing this, but my theory is they wait until right after the buzzer sounds to let the ball go because they don't want that shot to be counted as a shot attempt because probably not going to go in. But in these games where the end result is decided by usually a bucket, um, like put that shot up and give your team a chance to win. Steph is the king at this. Peyton Pritchard is the prince. Steph, he'll take that shot every time, and it's gotten to the point where he's made some incredible ones. Like first one that comes to mind is against Memphis, when he shot it from like their free throw line and it went in. But those are just some of the most fun plays, and of course he's a part of it. But tonight they killed the Kings. They passed their way they passed their way to open dunks and layups. There was plays where the ball didn't hit the ground. Steph to Draymond to cutting Guy Santos to Buddy Hield or Kuminga dunk. Jimmy Butler on the wing threading the needle to Draymond layup. They were patient and they made smart plays, and it was awesome. So the Warriors go up by a half game in the West. They're in the sixth spot, and let me just see, make sure I don't miss anything here. I think that was it. Oh, last Steph thing. I love Jalen Rose. He called Steph and has called him for a while affectionately the baby-faced assassin. And I always loved that nickname. But congrats to the baby-faced assassin. 4K three-pointers. And here's a song for you guys that I just released before I go. You can see it right there. Good night.